Hello everyone, I'm here today because the Women's Prize longlist for fiction has been announced today. And sorry about the setup, I don't have the energy to film anywhere away from my sofa, so we're just gonna do this. But the long list has come out today, and I wanted to go through it and the things that I'm interested in, and the things that I want to read and don't want to read, and the things I have read, because actually there is one book that I have already read in this list. So the first book in this list is Good Girl by Aria Aber, and it's about Berlin artistic underground, about drugs, techno, um, and a woman that was born in Germany from Afghan parents, and how she deals with her identity and the poverty and all of the hardships. uh, I am interested in like the hardship part of it, but honestly, artist and Berlin Underground is not something for me. So in principle, this one is not one I'm dying to read. Then The Ministry of Time by Kaliana Bradley. I have seen this in a lot of places, and I am mildly interested in it. It's a science fiction. It says in a London safe house in the 2020s, a disoriented Victorian polar explorer chain smokes while listening to Spotify and learning about political correctness. This is a comedy. Uh, there is a theme in this list about comedy. There is a lot of funny books, and I'm normally not one for funny books. So some of those things sound mildly interesting, but honestly, another person that kind of has lost their way and it's supposed to be funny, not a good combination for me. The next one in the list is Somewhere Else by Jenny Dykes. Uh, and this one is about, it's like a murder mystery, sounds like. So it says Rosa Roskin is 5 years old when her family are murdered in a pogrom, and she's forced to leave behind everything she knows with only a suitcase of clothes on her father's violin. Um, Epic generational novel about womanhood and Judeo-Scottish experience across the two world wars. Not a fan of world wars. Um, yeah, it sounds like something that will be done over and over again, so I'm not super into it. Then Ama by Saraid da Silva. This one is one that sounds good to me. Uh, Says it's a novel exploring trauma, displacement, queerness over 3 generations and 3 continents of the Sri Lankan diaspora. There has been a lot of Sri Lankan books lately, I feel like, and this is one more of those. It's about a lot of abuse and things like that. It could be very dark, or it could be very good, but this one is one that I am interested in reading, and I have actually ordered a copy of this, so I hope I can get to it soon. The next one is Crooked Seeds by Karen Jennings. Karen Jennings has been longlisted for the Booker Prize before, I think, by The Island. It's a South African novel. A woman in post-apartheid South Africa confronts her family's troubling past in this thought and daring novel about the national trauma and collective guilt. Um, yeah, this one sounds mildly interesting. Not something I'm running to read, but something that I would be interested to try if I can. If like my library has it or something, but not one that I like enough to buy. Um, I don't know why, but I haven't loved any of the South African literature I have read, so that gives me pause. And also, uh, I have heard very mixed things about her previous book, so I don't know. Uh, might be interesting, might not. It's also supposed to be like about a criminal offense, like a crime story, and those are also not normally something I love. So yeah, maybe. The next one is All Fours by Miranda July, which I have seen everywhere. And it's about the semi-famous artist that announces her plan to drive cross-country from LA to New York. 20 minutes after leaving her husband and child at home, she spontaneously exits the freeway beds down in a nondescript motel and immerses herself in a temporary reinvention that turns out to be the start of an entirely different journey. Absolutely not interested in this. Artists are not something I'm interested in. People doing weird stuff for the sake of doing weird stuff is not something I'm interested in. So this one is not one that appeals to me. The next one is The Dream Hotel by Leila Lalami. And it's about um, like racism in America, as far as I understand. And yeah, it is. I don't know exactly what this is about, but it's something. I think maybe quarantine. I don't know. I have read Leila Lalami before, and I thought it was fine. So I'm not jumping at reading this because, as I said, the things that I have read from her before are just fine. The next one in the list is The Persians by Salman Mahloudi. Um, and this one is a riotous, funny, and moving debut novel following 5 women from 3 generations of a once illustrious Iranian family as their lives turn upside down. So, this one is another of the funny books. Just it seems that it's about these women going to a vacation and things getting a little bit crazy, quirky, funny. Not for me. Also not for me. The next one is Dream Count by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and it's about a Nigerian travel writer living in America in the pandemic. And this one I have conflicted feelings for because I do like the way that Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie writes, but she has made some statements in the past few years supporting J.K. Rowling, which is not something I'm super eager to support. And also, like, it's one of those authors that I love some of her books, but also some of them can get a little bit samey at times. So I am hesitant about this. I think I could really like the reading experience, but I am struggling with supporting this author. Maybe I get her book from the library if they get it. But yeah, I don't know about this one. The next one is another one I'm interested in, and is Nesting by Roisin O'Donnell. It's an extraordinary and urgent debut by a prize-winning Irish writer, unforgettable new voice in fiction. On a bright spring afternoon in Dublin, Ciara Fay makes split-second decision that will change everything. Grabbing an armful of clothes from the washing line, Ciara straps her 2 young daughters into the car and drives away. She knows for certain that her home is no longer safe. This was meant to be an escape, but with dwindling savings, no job, and her family across the sea, Ciara finds herself adrift, facing a broken housing system and the voice of her own demons. I think she's an abused mother, and she flees, and she's trying to um, work the system, and the system is working against her. That's what I get from this. This sounds like my kind of thing. Very grim, very dark books seem to be my kind of thing. I have also recently watched Made, the series in Netflix, and I think it's this sounds similar to it, and I like that. So I'm hoping I like this one too. So yeah, this one I have also bought, and I'm also planning to read. Then the next one is A Little Trickery by Rosanna Pike. And this is about a girl, I think, in it's not our time, it's Tudor England, and she's kind of learning how to live without having a house, basically going from place to place and from person to person, I guess. Um, could be interesting, but I'm also not jumping at the opportunity. It's one of those that I will read from the library, but I'm not willing to spend my money on. The next one is Birding by Rosa Ruan. And this one says, in a small seaside town, autumn is edging into winter, gulls ride winds over the waves, and 2 women pass each other on the promenade as yet unaware of each other's existence. In the 90s, Lydia was a teen pop star, uh, and then Joyce, in middle age, never left home. And I guess they meet and change each other's lives. It sounds very mundane, said like that. So I'm not super interested in this. It doesn't seem like any interesting things are gonna happen other than these women. Seems like a like very quiet book. The next one is The Artist by Lucy States. An intense summer of love, lies, and the promise of freedom, set in Provence in 1920. None of those words are something that appeals to me at all. Um, yeah, again, one of those books about people meeting people. Not interested. The next one is Tell Me Everything by Elizabeth Strout. It's about town lawyer in Maine, in a murder investigation. I think Olive Kitteridge is also there, and Lucy, and like all of the characters of Elizabeth Strout. I have read a couple of books by her in this like world or whatever you want to call it. Don't like them, so this one I'm not gonna read either. The next one is The Safe Key by Yael van der Wooden, which I have read and enjoyed. Nothing to blow my mind, but it was very enjoyable, and it also has a tone of funny. It's not exactly funny, but it does have a little bit of humor in it. But yeah, I did like this one. I'm happy to see it here. The next one is Fundamentally by Nusaif Jones. And again, this one is another funny one. It says a wickedly funny and audacious debut novel following an academic who flees from heartbreak and lands in Iraq with an inside job offer only to be forced to do the work of confronting herself. Um, yeah, it's about an academic that publishes about rehabilitating ISIS brides, and yeah, the UN asked her to go to Iraq to refugee camps and try to help people out there. Um, yeah, it's again the funny thing. It's just not something I'm really looking forward to. So this one is not one that I'm looking forward either. So yeah, overall a very like funny list, and a lot of books are just about existing. A fair amount of them also have like social aspects and topics. I think they have put some work and um, some effort into making the list a bit more diverse. Obviously, these are all books written in English, so there is a limit of the diversity that you can include in this. But there is one about um, an Afghani woman. There is one about Iraq. There is one about Nigeria. There is one about Sri Lanka. There is one about South Africa. Laila Lalami is also, I think, her family is from Morocco, if I'm correct. There is one about Iran. So they have put some effort into making this list a bit more international, which I appreciate. However, a lot of the books, as I said, a lot of the books seem to be funny, which I'm not into, and a lot of the books are also there's a couple of mystery, crimey kind of books sounding, which also not my thing. So I think as a list, it's interesting, and I'm glad it's there, but it's not to my personal taste. I think I have, as I said, I read The Safe Keep, and I am planning to read Nesting and Amma. I have ordered both books, and they will be in my way in the next couple of weeks. And then the rest are things that I might pick up from the library at some point um, if they are available there. I know that the Ministry of Time is available in my library currently, but in Dutch, and I'm not feeling like reading in Dutch. So if they get the English version, I might read that from the library. And also Crooked Seeds, might read from the library. Dream Counts, might read from the library. Burden, A Little Trickery, and Fundamentally I might read from the library. The other ones are just not interesting to me. I know that they do have All Fours and Tell Me Everything in the library, and I'm just not interested enough to pick them up regardless. So yeah, a bit of a mixed bag, but overall I think it's just, I don't think it's a bad list, it's just a list that doesn't appeal to my taste. Another thing that I noticed, that all the books are very similar count, page counts. Like the thickest is 400 pages and the shortest is, I think, 240. So everything is between like 400 and 250 almost, or 240. So there's not super short books, there's not super long books, which is interesting. Normally there's always a chunker in this list, but not in this one. And another thing to notice is that a lot of people were predicting All the Rivers in the Sky by Elipsa Fact to be here, which would have been very handy because that one is in my TBR already, but it's not here. So that's just how it is. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this list. Because I am only planning to read 2 books, I don't know if I will vlog the experience or I'll just leave it be. But yeah, we'll see. And then also, like, I will revisit when the shortlist is announced, if I want to pick up something else, depending on reviews and things as well. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed them. Let me know what you think about this list. Let me know your thoughts, and if you're going to read any of these books, if you will recommend any of these books to me. And until next video, bye!